Old man Woody likes the crooked cock.
Who knows how
I agree with your comments on porn. However, I love go-karts.
Well, go-karts. Oh, but there's like I know the kind of go-karts Steve's talking about, like the shitty like electric ones.
Yeah, they
just
go like
kind of
15 miles an hour
No,
at that.
Taylor and I like 2 years ago went and drove these. Like, you had to have a driver's license to drive these go-karts. They were gasoline powered. I don't remember how many horsepower, but they went like 60 miles an hour or something in an indoor, like really curvy track. It was a ton of fun.
Dude,
I ran into Chiz so hard, I thought he might actually be injured.
Yeah, it was great.
It was that fast. Like when you would get off of it, your forearms would hurt because you were trying to hold this thing on the fucking track. Oh, that was a blast.
So sore.
Dude,
yeah.
it was eye-opening for me. I did a similar thing. I had all the Woodycraft employees over for like a team building event, and we all went go-kart racing one day. Instantly, go-karts went from like a joke to like, this is actually dangerous. Some guy hit the wall, flipped up, and landed in the tires upside down because there were like tires in between the walls.
Yeah.
And I was like, my God, that can happen. That just happened. Yeah.
And I liked it because like it seemed that we signed a bunch of waivers and insurance stuff, and I came to the realization that I can do whatever the fuck I want out here, and I'm not liable for it because that everybody signed that waiver, so I'm not responsible for shit. So I just started.
Wait, I think it's the other way around. I think when you sign the waiver,
I'll
that means the
interpret my
business.
waiver how
That means
I
the
like.
business isn't responsible for anything, and you are actually responsible for everything personally. I think that's what the waiver is for.
Yeah,
Did you think the waivers were that you saying I waive all responsibility?
No, that's the company waiving responsibility, and you agreeing. It's like an indemnification or whatever.
I know, but I
can't believe
if I
they don't
injured,
even want to be responsible.
but I figured if I injured someone else, there wasn't much they could do to me.
Well, they could take you to civil court, so hopefully you're all friends.
I'll be
right?
long gone before that happens. I'm leaving the state in like 3 days. They'll never find me.
FPS Mexico.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go-karts are one of those things you don't think about being fun until you get the real deal ones.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun.
There's probably I'm sure there's also probably a really fun bumper car area in the U.S. It just has to be not the ones at carnivals that go like 5 miles an hour.
Ooh.
Yeah, those suck.
Well, Demolition Derby, that's adult bumper cars, right?
Yeah, sure.
I do that. I bet that would be fun.
And hey, they'll have you sign waivers, so you're not responsible for anything that happens.
Exactly. Kyle. You could kill a man. No big deal.
Have you guys ever done escape rooms before or heard of
those?
Yeah, we did that.
The same trip that I'm describing, Taylor and I did an escape room.
Yeah, I was really disappointed because that was probably the most insane waiver I've ever signed in my life. Where they were saying shit like if you get killed or something, like literally in this escape room, like you agree not to hold us liable for anything. And I went in like, oh shit, dude, like I'm ready to fight for my fucking life. But it was just like going around and looking at a bunch of paintings and trying to add numbers together. I was like, fuck, this is way less intense than I thought it would, based on the waiver that I signed to get in here.
It's like I thought there would be armed combatants trying to keep me from figuring the puzzle out. Like, no, it's just trying to figure this shit. Like
I thought the
hardest thing
in the
about
room were going to be like protection from like stabs or some shit.
Did anyone beat their escape room?
We were really close, and then we didn't. The hardest part of the escape room wasn't the puzzle. It was how shitty the flashlight they gave you in that dark room where you're trying to, like, piece it together. It's like, that's what I didn't like about it, because it's like, you're not beating us because of the puzzle difficulty. You're beating us because we can't see, and like it's just a matter of time.
And, like, we were overthinking things. Like I felt like we were smarter than the people who had designed the puzzle. So we're like, maybe if we do this and that, it'll get... No. Like, well, maybe there's, like, something written that can only be seen when you shine the light on it. No.
Ours was really good, and it did have things. Like one of the puzzles opened in ultraviolet light, which led you to more clues and stuff like that. It was really good. We started off so strong. Hardly anyone beats this thing. There are only like 2 people, or 2 groups who had ever beaten it before. And we started off strong. They were like, this could be like one of the groups that beats it. And then we got stumped on something, and they lost
I was
faith.
done. I wanted out like 40 minutes in. I was like, we just get the fuck out of here. Like I'm done now. We've been going for 40 minutes. Like there's 20 more minutes to go. Like we go get something to eat.
We were looking at that other one that we could have done where it was in the middle of the room they put you in. There was a guy dressed in zombie regalia chained to a pole in the middle, and he can like try and get you, but he's chained up.
Yeah,
I thought that one sounded fun.
That would have been fun, yeah. But at the end of it, our time runs out, and the guy who works there comes in. And he's like, all right, well, if you want, I'll finish the puzzle for you, and you can see how it all ends. And I was just like, nah, Nah,
So disrespectful.
And somebody must have been like, yeah, show us how it is. And he was like, all right, so here, and I'm just like, can we leave and like Chiz can stay behind and figure out what this mystery like turn? It's like who killed Mr. It was Mr. Mustard in the dining room with the candlestick. I don't give a fuck, right? Like it's not a real mystery.
No, it's not a real mystery. It's like the people in the room adjacent are trying to solve the same shit.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah,
I'd be willing to try another one of those again.
If it was a cool,
well reviewed.
Yeah, if it was themed or interesting or something, I would. But I didn't enjoy that one that much. It was okay. It was okay for.
Have you ever done like a more, I guess, legit haunted house?
Haunted house, yeah. They have one in Atlanta that's pretty fucking legit. We went there one time, me, my girlfriend, like two of her friends, and they're like you're being led through it, and there are actors, and like zombies are coming after you, and they're coming after you. They're full like really good makeup, and they're trying to get you, and then all of a sudden like a special forces guy runs in with like a fake gun shooting like loud blanks or something, and he's like pop 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 pop, and the zombies fake fall. And he's like, come with me if you want to live. And we're like, okay. So we're following him, and we meander through this warehouse with him killing zombies the whole way, and it looks legit. It looks kind of real. And then we get outside, and like we get ambushed by zombies, and they fucking kill that guy, and they're like dragging him away, and he's like, run, follow the light. And we start running and following the light. and I had called ahead, and my girlfriend called ahead and like got these tickets for us, and the line was like 4 hours to get into this thing, and so she told them who I was, and so we got to the front of the line. So at this point, when we're running for the light, some of the zombies that are chasing us yell, "It's FPSRussia," and
that immersion.
It really took me out of the moment, and the rest of the journey was ruined. They're like, "Hey, it's FPSRussia," and I'm like, "You're supposed to be groaning and moaning and like scratching at me. Get out of here! Come on."
I mean, I like that video where he almost died from a toilet seat.
I went to a legit haunted house when I was a kid, like 8 years old or something. But it was good. It's, better than you're thinking an 8-year-old would go to. I had a loose tooth, and when I finished the haunted house, I don't know what happened, but the tooth was gone. Somewhere along the way, I got scared out of it, and
you scared the tooth right out of you.
Yeah.
In the escape room that I did, you could ask for 3 hints while you were doing it. They'll let you do with 3 hints or whatever for the one we were doing. The way that I kind of gauged how I felt about that escape room was how some of those like puzzles that were being solved for us came across, and I noticed that like. And like I think if somebody shows you how to do something, and when you look at it and it's a good puzzle, it's like a oh, you have that moment where it's like it makes sense. But for a lot of the like hints that they would give us and show the solution, it would be like, oh, really? Like the solution would end up being, it was kind of like what you said, like you're thinking too hard. Where like I remember we had like 2 paintings, and one was like these paintings twinned will help you blah 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 figure out the answer to the combination of the safe or some shit, or it was something like that, like a little bit more. So we were like going through, like they gave us like history of the paintings, like trying to find like the brothers of like these guys to see if there was some like crazy shit. But in reality, you just had to like add the dates of like the 2 paintings together, and that was like the combination of the safe. It was like, oh, like that was it. Fuck, there were a lot of moments like that.
Where you're trying to over-engineer it. Yeah, and it's like, oh, yeah.
Woody linked us to a transgender athlete beating the pants off of a bunch of white girls.
It's a pretty
here.
good topic, I think.
There's a video, and like, it's the video is shot from beyond the finish line of the 100-meter line, so that he can get them coming right at the camera. 1 second into this person's 11.72 second run, I was like, oh, that's the man.
Yeah.
There he is. It's the one who runs like Usain Bolt, surrounded by white girls.
Is that at the beginning of the race?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The whole race is there. Like it's 27-second video that you scroll down.
Dude, the girl
the second place,
has a full-on mustache. Like, have you scrolled down past the video and look at the close-up of the girl?
Yeah, I have. That's pretty legit.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. I don't know, something about that. Like, this isn't, I guess if they're, I'll call it gender confused, gender fluid, I don't know what to call them. And they're really feminine and skinny and like a soy boyish type thing, then I'm I'm not accepting, but I'm closer to it. This is a dude. This is a guy with a mustache.
It is, you have got to be livid as the second place girl in this race where you're just like, are you shitting me? Been training my ass off for this, trying to be the best, and then I just get blown the fuck out by this person? Like, I would be upset. Same with that wrestling one where you saw like the wrestling trans woman fighting the woman and just beating the shit out of her. Like, not even close. Like, brutalizing this person. Yeah, that's got to piss biological women off quite a bit.
I can't imagine how people can agree with this. Like either if I were competing, I would refuse to compete. Like I feel like everyone should just strike and be like, well, we're not coming to the race if we have to race against that guy. You know,
are there enough trans people to make their own league?
Let me just say this:
Or probably not.
For those of you who are into Star Trek, if there was a Klingon who suddenly joined the wrestling team, I'd be like, well, whoa! This is the human boys team. I refuse to wrestle against fucking Worf over there. Look at those cranial ridges. That is an enormous motherfucker. Like he killed 2 men before he got here today. Like, he's a Klingon warrior. I will not wrestle him. That's not fair.
Yeah.
As a big pro-trans person, maybe the only person in here, I don't know. This is a really dumb wedge issue that needs to die. I don't think it's fair that trans people compete in athletic activities with non-trans people. It's too dumb. I think this is an issue.
I'm pro-trans. Like, if you want to,
sure.
Yeah, if you're an adult and you want to do it, it's your freedom.
No, not even as an adult. Like, it's not fair from like generally. So getting way off into my SJW-esque views, I don't have like these rigid concepts of gender and all this shit that like an average person might or a normal conservative American might. But when it comes to like athletic stuff, we do have to address some biological realities of strengths that are given to different genders. And it's not really fair to take somebody that's had all the biological advantages of a male, whether it's via bone density or testosterone or whatever, in their early training, to then take these guys, transition them to be a woman, which is great if that's what you want to do, but then to have them athletically compete with people that have had to train their whole lives as women. That's not. I'm really uncomfortable with that.
Like the hand size of a man is not going to change no matter how many hormones you're taking. So if they're doing a combat sport, having a big man-sized hand, like that's really not a fair advantage.
Yeah, once you've gone through puberty, a lot of those things are kind of set. Now maybe like prepubescent, there's a little bit more room to talk, but like postpubescent, like you've gotten a lot of advantages from being a male athletically. You've like got the male shoulders, the male arms, like you're kind of built to throw, like in a way that women just aren't. Like not. Yeah. It's like it was Fallon Fox, that was her name, right?
Yeah.
Who the trans woman who beat the shit out of biological women, broke one of their orbital bones. One of the quotes from one of the women that the trans woman fought, she was like, I'm one of the strongest women I know. I'm an unusually strong woman. And the feeling of my wrist in Fallon Fox's grip, I couldn't get out of it. It was a strength like I've never felt. And it was like, that's what she literally said, that she's like, it was a strength that I've never felt. And it's like this poor woman getting, grabbed and then just a big man hand caving in the side of her head.
I mean, we've all beaten a woman before. We know how easy it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like
sometimes 2 or 3 at once. I've got a picture of Fallon Fox on the screen for the viewers. And yet she just has she's in a bikini and she has boobs. But she has a guy's broad shoulders and a guy's narrow waist.
Can I see the picture? Because that sounds pretty hot.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty hot.
Google links. I think this will work.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Fallon
That's
Fox.
A big boy.
It's man shoulders and man arms and man hands.
And
she's got some big boobs.
Like he doesn't. I guess I'll say she. She doesn't have like the woman's curve shape around her hips.
The athletic male V shape.
That's what she does have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she went pretty big with those boobies.
She did.
Yeah.
She was not messing around.
She's got me beat in the Adam's apple department. Big strong neck.
Those hands look bigger than mine.
Well, I mean, like fighting for a living and doing a bunch of weight training and stuff probably helps with that.
I don't think her hands are swelling up and like getting. I mean, your hands get muscular, but those are some big fucking hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, skeletal structure isn't going to get larger in response to resistance training, right? Your bones might get denser, but your hands won't get like physically bigger.
Wow, I would not want to fight that person.
Beat the shit out of me. I'm not jumping in that ring.
Absolutely. How much does she weigh? What's her weight class?
I'll have to Google it.
She was booted from everything, right? Like nobody is.
I don't know. She's
5'7",
42
143.
Yeah, 143. That is the biggest class.
Yeah,
I don't know of any women that fight. Well, I know one, but 145 is the biggest normal limit.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm fine with. I usually shade on the side of the libertarian beliefs, and so it's just kind of like, you want to do that? Do it. Do whatever you want to do. Our apocalypse list aside of people who need to be put to death. That's all for shits and giggles. But in reality, it's do whatever you want to do until it starts affecting my rights. You know what I mean? And this definitely seems if you're a competitor in a sport. I've competed at like super duper amateur level as a kid, and it's like I can't imagine if someone was like, I was like, wait, that's a grown man on the other team. Yeah, but he identifies as a 12-year-old. That's Chipper Jones. He plays for the Atlanta Braves. Yeah, but he identifies as a 12-year-old. Like I wouldn't fly, right? Like you'd feel so shitty as Chipper just hit home run after home run and was just fielding an entire side of the infield.
You'd be like, why even compete?
Yeah, I'd quit.
Yep.
I would definitely quit if there were if I were a girl and there were a trans person competing in my field and just stomping us all. Now, if it were close, that might be a badge of honor. That I beat that giant girl over there too.
Yeah, but the fact that it would be a badge of honor shows that it's really not that fair.
Right.
Yeah.
And people I've heard people say like, oh, Fallon Fox, she lost some fights. That shows that it is actually fair. And it's like, no, it's showing lost one fight. Thank you, Woody. It's like, no, that's showing that this person isn't even that good of a fighter, and they're leveraging this strength over these more technically sound women in order to win just by brute force in a lot of situations. Like that's like no matter how good their technique is, it's like, what the fuck? I can't move in this grip.
Yeah, and there are probably some like high level women fighters that can beat like medium or low tier like MMA fighters. Like I'm sure that exists,
Like women to man. I don't think any female fighter could beat a male UFC fighter.
Well, like you don't think like the highest tier woman fighter could find like the lowest tier like MMA fighter and maybe be able to like not like win consistently, but could take a win off of them or something?
I don't know. So the highest tier would be like Chris Cyborg. She fights at 145 pounds, and she's very big, very muscular.
Just an example.
Oh, you would not. You would have to get a much smaller man.
Conor
McGregor. Conor McGregor fights at 145 sometimes. Like the guys who fight at 145 are terrifying beasts.
Maybe not then.
Yeah, and like the smallest class of men, it's 135, right? Is that where Mighty Mouse is, or is it 125?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
crush him.
Well, what about like the worst guy in Mighty Mouse's division if he fights Cyborg?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm just like saying that like even if you do have like a massive advantage, you could still lose like a fight or two. Like,
I don't think so, honestly. Like I'll say this: Chris Cyborg would beat the shit out of most average men who are walking around.
Yeah, who don't know how to fight.
She beat the shit out of me. I'm taller than her, but I'm nowhere near on her strength level and expertise level. She just beat me to death. She could literally kill me with her bare hands.
Yeah, she'd know all the right combos, all the right moves. Even if you were stronger,
would be that. She would grab my ass and take me down to the ground, and she'd hit me in the head till I was dizzy, and then she'd choke me off dead.
Until I was dead.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what would happen if I fought Chris Cyborg. And I think that's what would happen if most of us fought Chris Cyborg.
I wonder where along the lines, like, a regular man could start competing with it, like a UFC level woman.
I don't know.
A fight in like the hallway of a house, I think that like some differences start taking place. Like he grabs her wrists and it's like, what are you gonna do now? Like if he gets her like a bear hug and he gets on top of her, like, all the expertise in the world doesn't matter if the person outweighs you by 75 pounds.
Yeah, somewhere along the way
I think it depends on the discipline a lot, though, right? Like if you're talking about like just straight like strikes, like a really big person is going to be scary. But there are like things like BJJ and shit for a lot of the grappling stuff. Smaller people can do some pretty shockingly surprising stuff.
Yeah, but there's a limit to it. At a certain point, like. And the other thing is like this hypothetical man who's attacking a BJJ woman in a hallway isn't following the rules of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, sure. I just like we have these conversations on streams sometimes. It's really interesting, like what works in the streets in terms of fighting. And I'm sure a million people have these conversations, you know. And it seems like you've got like a lot of like really fancy, cool shit that works in maybe a UFC ring or whatever. But when it comes to the streets, the two things that when we went through a fuck ton of videos just seeing how people fight, the two things that seem to work reliably are grappling. Where like I don't know if you've seen the video of there's a guy in a McDonald's. This dude looked pretty tall. This guy must have been like 170, and this guy takes down this like drunk dude that's like 300.
It's a
fucking
white
pounds.
guy, right? Maybe wearing
Yeah.
it's a slow takedown and green shorts. I know the guy.
Yeah. But that big guy, like looking at that fight before the video, I would have said like you can know all the grappling in the world. This guy is 100 pounds of you. Like he's just gonna sit on you. But he actually took that dude down and like had him like in submission, and that shocked me. So it seems like the grappling shit it actually has like real world application, and then boxing, because if you punch somebody quick and fast in the face, like they just go right the fuck down. That seems like the two things that help the most.
Absolutely, I would agree with that assessment. And like it's those are the two core disciplines that are trained in mixed martial arts. Really, like there's a lot of other Muay Thai and Taekwondo and stuff definitely comes into play, but those are really
like,
they're really
fancy
picking
kicks
and
in
choosing.
real life. Like I've never seen a video. It's possible to happen, but I've never seen a street fight video where somebody does like a fancy kick or something.
Yeah, you've never seen like a
manages to take
head
something.
kick from like one of those parking lot
Cowboy
security
Cerrone
cams.
head kicked a guy on the lake and knocked him the fuck out. Like
Is it on video?
no,
No,
but
they
he
just
did
told
go
the
to
story.
court.
He's gonna go to court.
Maybe, yeah. But like you can find videos of like, especially the boxers, of like one dude taking out like 3 or 4 or like 2 dudes like bam bam like right in a row. Like that shit is fucking crazy. But anything more complicated than that, I've never seen a video.
Even you remember that bus guy from years ago, like the old white guy with the tucked in blue
Epic
shirt.
Man.
Yeah, Epic Beard Man. And there was this much younger, similarly sized guy who was at the front, the black guy, and they were like in an
Ambulance guy.
argument. Ambulance guy.
Amber
And-
lamps, yeah.
And he just gets like, and this guy wasn't even a fighter. Like apparently he just knew like basic stuff that he learned in the military, like just basic kind of fighting and like maybe a couple classes. And he struck that guy so fast, like knocked his ass out in the front of that bus. He's 30 years older than the guy he was fighting. Still won.
Yeah,
He
it's like
pummeled
65
that-
versus 35 or something.
Yeah.
I think the black guy was fairly old. I don't remember the numbers, but I want to say the black guy was like 50 and the white guy was like 70 or something. But I love that video.
looking
love
this
that.
up now, it kind
Yeah.
of looks like the black dude was just. I'm not listening to it because I'm not gonna unmute you guys. But like it kind of looks like the black dude was just like kind of trying to start shit, but the white dude was like fucking ready to go hard. That seems to be the big difference here. Like I don't think that black guy was ever ready to actually fight anybody, but when that old white dude stands up, he's like ready to go. Because the black dude is like puts his hand up and he's like, I'm done already.
Yeah,
Holy
like
shit.
2 punches in, and then they go up afterward, and you see like you're like, oh, he just knocked him down a bit. Blood all over the blue seats of the bus.
Yeah.
And the
Call
guy
the
has to, like, get off
ambulance.
in shame. Yeah.
Call the ambulance. Oh, that's great.
I love street fight videos.
I love street fight videos.
I wish they would bring back bum fights. We've spoken about that many times, but please, whatever producer out there has plenty of money and no ethics,
Really,
bring back bum fighting.
bum fights, I really feel like is just softcore felony fights. Felony fights is where it's at.
Dude, I don't like
felon
the felony
fights, too.
fights.
That's a
you-
little too intense. When that
You're
guy
a
got
little
his cheek bit off,
soft-hearted, you two. Yes.
Dude, when that guy bit the guy in the face, that turned me off so much. I was like, he's not even biting till submission. He's biting because he wanted to bite this
He's
man.
trying to
Yeah.
remove a piece of cheek. It
He's
seems.
hungry.
have you
He's
ever
just
heard
hungry.
of those videos, Steve? The felon fights?
I don't think so. It's possible I've seen one but didn't know what it was because I've seen like a lot of like the online fighting videos. Unless
Yeah, these guys aren't even fighting like for money. It's like there's 2 30-packs of natty, and they're willing to murder each other in some, reservoir, drained out reservoir. And one of the crazy guys goes to the other dude before and even says, he's like, I'm gonna bite your face. I'm gonna bite your face. And they start fighting. And then at the end of it, he gets on top of the dude. It's over. The guy's tapping, trying to get out. And the guy leans in, bites like a chunk of this guy's cheek, like hard. And the formerly hard guy who's on the ground pinned with his cheek being bit is now going, oh, oh.
And the
Dude,
biter
this guy's
is
got, like, a
growling.
stick.
The
What the
biter is
fuck
like,
is going
"Grr."
on?
Did you
He's
find it?
growling.
Link it.
These guys use like weapons and shit. I'm watching this.
The weapons don't last
Fucking
long. It
stick.
turns
It's
into
Play it
like
again with weapons.
if you're not familiar with stick fighting, it turns into grappling almost immediately. Like there's stick fighting leagues and stuff out there.
And these guys,
like
one
the
dude is
meta?
clear. He doesn't even want to use the stick. The cheek biter doesn't even want the stick. He just wants to tackle right.
He just
in.
wants to get right into the carnivore fucking.
He needs those natties.
Oh, man.
He needs his bush life.
Right into the cannibalism. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was a great series. Someone bring that back.
Is this like a YouTube series, or was this on TV, like Jackass, or what?
I don't know how it
this
happened.
This is a dark corner of the internet kind of series.
Okay.
Yeah. This is
Interesting.
definitely not anything that was sanctioned by any major network or anything like that. The same way Bum Fights was.
Is there a
I ended on that note. I love the
That was the
wordplay.
best
Very
shit
nice.
I've ever heard.